Man can do all things if he but wills. Leon Battista Alberti. What if I finally asked out that girl? What if I finally started going to the gym? What if Swatch and Casio made a watch? Oh no, it looks horrendous. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna make the Swatch Casio watch today, and, enjoy the video. Okay, I think at this point, everyone has either heard or seen the Swatch collaborations with Omega and Blancpain. The typical design of these collabs is that of a much cheaper fun watch brand, that being Swatch in this case, partnering with a high-end luxury brand to create a cool little homage watch for a relatively cheap price. So I thought instead, what if we just cut out the luxury part and just make it between two cheap brands? Combine the reliability and durability of a Casio with the, I actually don't really know what the Swatch people do, but I do know they make watches, so. First up is the actual watch case itself. The main purpose of the case is to house and protect the very delicate inner parts, which is usually why it's made out of very strong and durable kind of metal. I shouldn't hate too much though, since I will also be using a PLA plastic from a standard FDM printer. Fortunately though, this is not a G-Shock, so I can more focus on the design rather than the indestructible materials. I'm not hating on G-Shocks, but sometimes they can get a little out of hand. Anyways, for the actual case design at least, for this project I will really only need to focus on two main things, the lugs and the bezel. The main idea here is creating the inbred offspring of the two brands, so I need to keep in mind their weird little design quirks and incorporate them into the actual watch. I want the lugs themselves to be slim and kind of resemble a dive watch pretty much, and same with the lower case. But yeah, the bezel will resemble something like a G-Shock I guess, at least the nicer ones. Okay, next up is the movement. If you don't know what a movement is, I don't know exactly why you're here, but I'll explain it to you anyways. The movement of the watch is the object that performs all the main functions of said watch, primarily keeping the time. You'll either hear it being called a mechanical, which means it uses a physical gear and spring to control the mechanisms, or a quartz, meaning that it runs off a quartz crystal and battery instead. For this project I will be using a quartz digital movement that I stripped off this knockoff Casio F91W. Yes, they do exist. If you're wondering why I didn't have a real Casio for this project, the official answer is that I had already started measuring and building with the fake one before it was too late. But to be entirely honest, I had bought this a month earlier, and I kind of felt bad for it just lying around with no purpose. Besides, they're probably still coming from the same factory in Malaysia, so regardless of its authenticity, it still performs the basic timekeeping functions, seconds, minutes, hours, days, and stopwatch, The only thing is, like almost all the other Casios of this model, it uses these dumbass little metal bars instead of real buttons. I assume it's to save money, but they work by having the case's buttons pushed down to the bars, which then make contact with the board in order to pass a signal to change like the backlight, for example. This results in pushing the buttons feeling very mushy and unresponsive, and is one of the main things I want to fix, which in theory shouldn't be too hard since I just gotta enlarge the pushers on the outside, but it's always easier said than done. Next up is what is referred to as the watch crystal. It's the bit of glass that usually sits between the dial and the outside world, and its main purpose is to protect the watch from said world. To do this, it's usually made out of sapphire, a material that resembles like regular glass, or it's made out of acrylic, which is pretty much like plastic. Sapphire is much more expensive, but incredibly hard to scratch or damage in general. Like, I have abused some of my watches with sapphire glass, but they still show no noticeable scratches unless you put them to light. On the other hand, there is acrylic, which does scratch quite easily, but is very cheap. Naturally, I would be using the acrylic. Mostly, since if I use the crystal from the fake Casio, it will resemble the actual F91W more accurately. Plus, it's relatively difficult to get something like that custom made in a timely fashion. The crystal from the fake Casio is rectangular though, just like the real one, which is a bit annoying but just means I'll have to design everything else around it. The back case or back casing is pretty self-explanatory. It just houses the back of the movement to prevent water and dust or any other random shit from entering the watch. The back case is incredibly important for the construction of the watch since exposed movements are very sensitive and will be damaged if even a small amount of water or dust enters the case for an extended period of time. That is why I'll follow Swatch's lead and cheap out on the back case. I'm probably just gonna borrow it from one of my other cheap digital watches. Since I don't have a gasket, the water resistance on this watch will be almost non-existent. Like, do not get anywhere even remotely near moisture. I hopefully won't have to explain what the strap is. It's just a thing that secures the watch to your wrist. It's usually made out of leather, nylon, metal, or even wood sometimes for some reason. I don't really know why. One thing I actually do like about the Blancpain Swatch 50 Fathoms is the NATO strap, since I actually do think it complements the colors of the dial and bezel very well. The Moon Swatch does come with some leather strap thing, but I think a NATO on it looks far better. Since the idea of these collabs is the bright colors and fun play on the usually very standard looking watch, I wanted this watch to be, you know, a nice shade of blue. So I ordered this blue NATO strap with black buckles, so it should complement the crystal and the rest of the case pretty nicely. It has a very solid nylon feel to it, and it's surprisingly comfortable. Before I actually design any of these for real, I need to measure out all the parts to ensure I don't play a game of guess and check with the measurements. I am always off by like 0.25 millimeters, so I always end up playing the game, but it's fine I guess. By the way, if you ever try to do something like this, get yourself a nice pair of digital calipers if you don't already. It'll save you like a decent amount of brain cells. Anyways, the most annoying part about these kinds of projects is figuring out how much clearance I should give the parts and needing to count of like the 0.20 millimeters of shrinkage that my printer produces. Plus, if you don't have like an industrial quality printer, you're gonna need to figure out the supports so that the underhangs don't look really ugly, which I unfortunately had to learn through trial and error. Eventually I just settled on having just really high detailed supports in exchange for not being able to take them off without cutting myself 40 times. Again, if you ever do this, get yourself a nice set of pliers. They'll save you your sanity. Finally, for a dumbass joke, this took way longer to design than it should have. The lugs are all done, the bezel's been made to look more like a G-Shock DW, along with the pushers and spring bars being fully fitted and measured correctly. This does meet all the goals I set for this project, I guess, you know. The lugs and bottom half more emulate like a standard watch, while the pushers and the top bezel more look like a Casio, I guess. I actually don't think it looks half bad, all things considered, you know. Looks decent, I'd say. Alright, since it's actually designed, I should try to explain how it works. These holes in the side of the case are where the pushers will be inserted to actually make contact with the movement. These small edges on the side are so the pushers don't fall out, you know. And then the pushers themselves actually have this small cylinder so that they can better make contact with the actual movement. This way you don't have to, you know, destroy the watch in order to press the button, which I think is a lot better. Anyways, the plan is that the crystal will fit on this top platform, and then the movement will, you know, fit on the bottom side. It's all custom fitted for that. These 4 screw holes are for the why did I blink there? The back case. Yeah, they got these little inserts so that they can come out. And then these are the spring bar holes for the strap. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, all things considered, it's not bad. The lugs definitely came out pretty long though, I'm not gonna lie. I would have shortened it, but you know, I just need to get something out. It's been way too long in this project. I can't be a perfectionist about everything, so at some point you have to stop. Onto the 3D printing, I guess. Alright, now that that's done, I can finally print the goddamn thing. I'm using a Kingroon K3PS standard 3D printer with eSun PLA plus 1.75mm filament. And my settings for this are 0.12mm for the nozzle width, and then 60mm for the speed. The tolerance that I get for this printer are alright, you know, they're acceptable for the price I paid. It prints at like plus or minus 0.20mm, which isn't atrocious for a printer like this. It was only like $120 on sale, and it's really easy to set up. So if you're doing small one-off things like this, I'd highly recommend it. You know, ironically, the cheap plastic for this build is pretty much like identical to the Moon Swatch. I mean, not really, but like, plastic is plastic, and I didn't pay $500 for mine. That's a gross oversimplification, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Disclaimer, I am not a painter by any means, so if you are a painter, I'm sorry. Alright, first we're gonna start with the primer. Since it's so small, and it's gonna be kinda accurate, I don't want to smooth down any parts, so I'm just gonna add multiple layers. That should work. Alright, it's pretty dry, I would say. Alright, that'll be good for the top coat. Now we wait again. Oh, we had to move. But this one turned out pretty well. Alright, cool. Now we wait again. Gotta respray some of these. This one turned out interestingly. I don't know if I'll keep it. Should be good. It's soft right now. Don't know if I should touch it. Oh, God, I fucked it up. Yeah. That's great. Oh, I think I'm gonna restart that one. Oh, shit. Not gonna use primer this time, I don't think I need it. Oh god damn! Alright, we are finally done. Everything is finished drying, and I'm gonna be real, the case looks it's glossy, so it looks a little funky in the light, but I promise it looks better. First, we just gotta put in the pushers, I guess, so. Alright, I think I gotta put some grease on this, or else it'll just not play. I just gotta check all these work pretty well. You know, now that I realize it's more of a purple. Alright, we're just gonna slide that baby in, see. Oh, this is the annoying part. I gotta have the buttons so that they don't hit each other. There we go. Wait, did it? Yeah. Why is it more of a purple color? I wanted a blue. I wanted more of a turquoise. Okay, cool. That'll I can't guarantee any water protection, but it will work. I'll clean off the LCD so it doesn't have my fucking fingerprints after working on it for so long. That should be good. Okay, I need to reapply the glue. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but it'll probably be fine. This glue's kind of shit, I think. I got in like one of those IKEA things. It should be fine. Doesn't have to be like luxury wash levels. It just has to work. That's a little too much. Oh fuck! I think I fucked that up. Whatever. Alright, now I'll just be a little careful and nice. Okay, I'm gonna clean up the fucking glue. I might need a spring bar tool because I designed it so well. Then you loop it around like that. Yeah, cool. And that's what it looks like. This is not too much of an abomination. If you ignore everything. Wow, the light even works. That's crazy. Ignore how large my wrists are. It's a little glossy for my liking, but it's whatever. Well, I guess I should conclude in some way. Yeah, I would say this was a pretty good learning experience for me. I learned how to use Fusion, I learned how to assemble watches, kind of, I guess. I wish the paint job turned out better. What's she gonna do, you know? Next video will be better though, not like this cursed abomination. Unless you want to see more of that, then I'm totally up for that, but see you guys.